This guy. What is this guy? He's just doom. After the Fantastic Four video, learning about them was just so much fun. We decided it was probably the right time to immediately hop onto this. There was mention of the Maker in that video as well, but we didn't really delve into it. Been super interested to see what Reed does when he turns villain, so yeah.
Yeah, I enjoy the Maker a lot. Most of my knowledge from him comes from the 6160 comics, but which are fantastic.
Wait,
I know he originated.
Say that again.
God damn it. This word has become a trap in my vocabulary, and I can't get away.
But anyways, dudes, we're watching this video. I believe this was the most recommended one to take a look at in the comments. If you guys haven't seen it, definitely go and support the OG video. The link to that is at the very top of the description, like always. Oh, and also, just like with the Fantastic Four video, if there are any weird jump cuts here and there, it's probably because I had to like cut out some copyrighted music. So yeah, there you go. Apologies for that if it ruins the flow of the video, but it is what it is.
So anything now, like moving forward, it happened, you can't take it back.
I'm gonna make the world hate me. I'm gonna make the world hate me. I'm gonna be like, I'm gonna be the super villain. I'm gonna make this whole thing crumble.
People like
Okay.
Yeah, they do.
Oh god.
I definitely agree.
Okay, now this is one thing that I know about it. I'm pretty sure you mentioned it when I asked about like, what is the Maker skin in Marvel Rivals? Did he not like cut out the brains of a bunch of other versions of himself to put into his own brain and make himself like super smart or something like that? Big brain?
It's a weird amount of mutilation, lobotomies, you know, just kind of general horrible fucking around with people's heads kind of stuff going on with the Maker.
Is his head actually in the shape of the mask that he wears? Like it goes up like that too?
Yeah, that one I'm not sure. I don't actually know much about the origin of the Maker because like I said, most of my knowledge comes from 6160, which is he's already established. So
okay,
Definitely, I'm gonna ruin everything for everybody.
Oh, I've seen this panel before. It's horrifying. Fantastic! He said the thing!
When losing a loved one, it's reasonable to assume that an individual might change due to the grief. They may ditch a bad habit, feeling motivated to try something different. They may seek betterment or something to fill the void in a healthy way that can help them pass that trauma and move on. In the Maker's case, he bombs his fucking family and commits a genocide not once, but twice.
Okay, reasonable crash out. Well, what happened to him in the first place? I can't really say reasonable.
that's a
Look, I'm an evil mad scientist. Well, trying to be evil. Yeah. So I'm working up to agreeing with like villains, okay? I'll get there eventually.
Because, I don't know, he got bored? Now just look at this sweet, smart-looking guy that looks like he wouldn't hurt a fly. The human version of Theodore the Chipmunk. This is Mr. Fantastic. Would it surprise you to also learn that these two people end up being the same person? If I could describe...
It's really funny because during the Fantastic Four video, there were other versions of Reed. Well, probably other artists that looked like much more rugged and potentially like on the verge of, you know, flipping over to the other side. This is the least likely one, but I guess, you know, the serial killers out there just look like normal people too. Maybe the most innocent looking ones out of them too. You never know what might be going on down there in their brains.
Down there?
Well, my bad. I used the wrong analogy. Inside there.
Read Mr. Fantastic's transformation into becoming the Maker, it was kind of like watching Anakin turning into Darth Vader. I say this because in the beginning of his journey, Reed is full of wonder and excitement, and in a sense, Reed wishes to reach for the stars and to never look back. Yet when he manages to finally grab a hold of each new discovery through his perfect ideas, whenever he unravels them, the more imperfect they become, the more he sees how ugly it is because of how real he's made it in his never-ending search for answers, leading him to become all the more bitter, resentful, hateful for the imperfect. Upon going through this evolution, Johnny, Sue, and Ben all can accept that Reed could become such a monster, equal to the likes of Doom and even worse. Yet when all the clouded judgments are brushed aside, it's shown that Reed was always a monster deep down. It was only through the loss of those he cared for that kept him grounded with morals and responsibility that Reed's ego ran rampant enough to no longer see the point in saving such an imperfect world, but to create a perfect one in his image.
That makes sense for his character, I think. Because oftentimes there was the comparisons between him and Doctor Doom and how similar they were. And really the only thing that I feel like was different was definitely the family. The family and the friends
100%.
that kept him grounded in reality when he lost himself too far into his work. Because, well, the mad scientist trope is a trope for a reason. You go places and you discover things that you probably shouldn't have. And it can very easily bring you down the wrong path.
When you compare them then as villains, the Maker is probably the scarier villain just because Doom at least cares about certain things, right? He has his history, there's people that he likes and cares about. Maker completely unhinged and will just destroy everything if he feels like.
There's nothing left that he cares
no
about.
Limiter there, right?
So yeah. For him, there are no boundaries, no bars left, nothing keeping him shackled at all. Doom still, despite being the monster that he is, still has some speck of humanity and pride. I don't think the Maker really has any of that or cares about it anymore.
No matter the cost. You can almost say that it was inevitable. Now, what I aim to do in this video is provide you a concise breakdown of what led Reed into becoming the Maker, while going over his complete history, sort of how I did in my Red Hood video if you haven't watched before. You will see.
Would you like to check out some DC stuff in the future, Serby?
In the future, yeah. 100%.
Oh yeah? I know a lot of people have been begging me, especially during my Batman streams. Zero, please. We will get to them, guys.
I know very little about DC. I won't say I know nothing, but it's definitely not one I know as much of.
You probably know more than I do, but in a way, that'll be like both of us discovering more about the comics, which I think will be exciting.
Most of my DC comes from the TV shows. The only comics I think I read for DC was Jaime Reyes' Blue Beetle.
As for me, the only one I read, I think, was like a little bit of The Killing Joke, and that was pretty much it.
Become one of the most sadistic, soulless, and vile villains in the Marvel Universe. I felt so much dread and sadness watching a character have the opportunity to do the right thing over and over and repeatedly choose the wrong route. It's even more tragic when you watch this Reed flourish with the ultimate Fantastic Four, learn to be the team leader, go on
so much. He was so stupid. He would be given blatantly correct decision, a blatantly wrong decision, and he would always make the wrong decision.
Ajin was the CGI anime from back in the day, right? It was like super edgy as well.
I read the manga for it before the anime came out, but yeah.
Gotcha. I recall you talking about it.
I thought maybe the anime could save it for me, and it didn't.
It's an interesting narrative to go with, because I feel like those kind of ones are hard to balance, where you might end up annoying your audience away from your story and not have anything for them to like get attached to. Yeah.
But it's like you can have unlikable main characters, but it's really hard.
Here we might have the benefit of Reed already being an established character that people like a lot, and this being a new path for him to take.
Which does help, yeah.
Well, as for other series, they kind of have to establish all of that within their own series and get new people latched onto it, so it might not be the greatest beginning to something. Like, even like ReZero, too. During the first section, they had you like Subaru a ton. And then there was a section where everybody hates Subaru, even the viewer. But it's after you get to know him and understand why he's acting the way that he is, and yet you despise what he has done. You know? Yeah, that works.
Adventures with the team and have intimate moments with each member, only for it to all end in the worst way imaginable. You just feel the depression loom over you, like things could have turned out differently if that one thing just never happened. But enough of the semantics. I have a room covered in post-it notes about the Maker's history, and my girlfriend is yelling at me to just finish this video already. So let's get into the Maker and how he is truly Marvel's ultimate villain. When putting the Reed Richards of 616 side by side with the Ultimate, at face value there aren't a whole lot of differences. But what I love about the contrast
I think he originated in the original Ultimate run, but I am not positive on that.
Gotcha.
The two's upbringings. In 616, Reed's father nurtures Reed and his intelligence, always pushing him to discover, to always wonder and wander. Where Ultimate Reed's father is just a piece of shit. Reed's father is a drunk that is ashamed of his son for being a nerd and for not being exactly like him, looking at his son like he's a mistake and nothing like anyone else in their hometown, hating his son's passion for science. Reed's family, excluding his little sister, don't really connect with him whatsoever because Reed's hobbies include math, science, and building tech made from parts of the family's everyday appliances, which leads more often than not to Reed's father beating on him for not being quote-unquote normal. It's like a dark, twisted version of young Sheldon.
Sweetie, you have to eat dinner. Sweetie, I want you to eat this. Sweetie, you have to eat and you have to talk to me when I talk to you.
Okay.
You want to talk about the bullies?
Do you?
You know, sweetie, you can talk to mommy about things that bother you. I love you, you know.
I know.
Hey! Hey, you do this? Why am I asking? Of course you did this. What did I tell you about pulling apart the phones?
It's not a phone.
I know it's not a phone. I don't want you pulling apart the stuff in this house. This is the last time I'm going to tell you. Now I can't... what was this?
It's the blender.
Fix it. Or you're buying a new one right out of your allowance.
I needed the motor to...
Put it back and clean this pigsty.
Holy shit.
Cool graphic.
What are you doing? There aren't words to describe how fucking grounded you are, kid. You got that?
Dad, I found a way to break the...
I don't want to hear it. Not another word.
But Dad, I found a way to break the space-time continuum. This is a discovery of the ages. And I did it with our family's blender. No, son, you're stupid. Go out there and play sports. I can never understand this. And it's really sad because this does happen. I don't get it.
Oh yeah, 100%.
Why? Why can't we just be supportive of the things that our children want to do? I mean, aren't they your kids? You want to like force them to be you? Like a better version of you? They are
Weirdly,
themselves.
there are a lot of parents who do seem to want that. It's like they can live vicariously through their kids. So they're like, well, I failed to be a professional athlete, but you can damn well do it.
You must do it
like,
for
but I
my
hate
sake.
sports.
This really sucks considering like they don't know the diamond that they currently have in their household and the places he could probably take them if only they had supported him just a little bit.
Right.
Living in a madhouse.
So bullied in school for being different and abused at home for being different, it affects Reed on a deep level, with Reed's only solace being in the form of Ben Grimm, his best friend. Ben Grimm is Reed's anchor point to keep him steady, and is always there to pick him up out of a rut, which makes it all the more ironic when the complete opposite ends up occurring much later. Ben helps Reed put together some of his devices as payment for Reed's tutoring, and in constructing one of the devices, they end up creating a teleportation device to a place called the End Zone, teleporting toy cars and various different objects. This holds plenty of significance down the line. Taking the device to present at a science fair, everyone goes crazy, and it raises the attention of a government scientist looking for new talent for their think tank corporation based in New York. Approaching Reed's parents about his exceptional intelligence, they think they did a bad job and should have raised him better, until the scientist reaffirms
The fuck? The scientist was like, man, your son created a teleporter. To another dimension as a school project for a science fair. I think you're going to win a lot of awards for this one.
that they did a standout job and will even pay them to take him under their wing to learn and prosper at the Baxter building. Reed's father gets excited and Not for this incredible opportunity for his son, but that he'll be receiving a
Money.
big fat check to basically kick him out of the house to never deal with him ever again. So when taken to the
my
Baxter
God.
building, Reed is introduced to Dr. Storm, who will become like a
Oh.
father figure to Reed,
Oh
and
my.
Susan Storm. There's also Johnny Storm over there. Dr. Storm
Yeah,
shows
who's
their
there?
progress on the end zone and tells Reed that they discovered the end zone months ago, but that Reed is the first person to ever send anything into the universe after they kept finding toy cars floating around their view. So some years go by working on how to enter the end zone, and during that time,
We
Reed
finally
had gone
found
on to
this crazy alternate dimension. Why are there a bunch of toy cars here?
Wait, what is that? What is that unidentified object?
become an incredible scientist, giving plenty of life-saving inventions to the government, making stacks on stacks on stacks. Yet no matter how successful Reed became, his family never cared and never visited, which always made
How?
him feel like he wasn't doing enough,
Right.
crumbling his self-esteem. But where his father was never present, Dr. Storm is always there to give Reed the reassurance that he is enough and that he's almost like a son to him after pretty much raising him. At the Baxter building, Reed was allowed to flourish and come into his own, to grow more confident in himself, and develop friendships between Susan and Johnny Storm, some unnamed classmates, and the silent, enigmatic Victor Van Dam. He's not doomed,
Hey.
but he is doomed. The friendship between Victor and Reed starts off on the wrong foot because of Victor's lack of respect and privacy due to his thinking of himself to be superior from others because of his status as royalty. So Doom
He is
just kind of lets
superior.
himself into Reed's quarters and makes tweaks to some of Reed's calculations. Reed at first discovers Victor doing this and demands for him to get the fuck out of his room and to never tamper with his work ever again. But once reading
Yeah,
Victor's
fair.
edits, he realizes Victor could be a huge help to him in cracking the teleportation problem. So Reed approaches Victor to basically form a truce and agree to help one
Look at
another
that
on each other's
haircut.
projects. At first, Victor is stubborn, but ultimately
slick.
agrees once accepting that Reed is his equal in intelligence. But under the dark exterior lies an even darker intent in Victor, agreeing to help only to tamper with Reed's work any chance presented, due to Victor despising
Good
the
old
fact
Doom.
that Reed is his equal, and Victor simply can't have that. This all ends up culminating years later when Reed has finally finished the teleporter to the end zone with the goal to send an apple through and right back where it left, inviting Ben Grimm over a decade later to see the project that they made as kids brought to its full potential. Ben is only there for 10 minutes, living his best life, and finally able to see his best friend's dream come true. Victor pulls Reed aside to try a different set of coordinates for the teleporter, viewing it as a better and safer destination to send the apple through. However, Reed makes a point that he's ran all the numbers a cajillion times and knows everything will fall through, but Doom leaves furious. So minutes later, when they begin to turn on the teleporter, Susan gives Reed a kiss, and right as the teleporter goes off, everyone can tell something is completely wrong. Once the dust settles, Reed wakes up near the
Oh,
blast
shit.
zone with an extra 20 feet added to his height, lifting himself up to find all of his limbs super elastic and unable to control it. Walking towards the blast zone, the military open fire on him, thinking Reed is an alien that came through the teleporter.
It is. And also understandable why the military would open fire. They don't know what that thing is. And us humans,
Right?
when we
I
don't
would freak
understand
out if
something,
I
we
saw
shoot
that.
it first. Yeah. Which is really sad, but also pretty necessary survival mechanic of ours.
Was it the fight or flight? Yeah.
Yeah.
Teleporter until Dr. Storm calls off everyone, recognizing the alien is just Reed changed. After which Dr. Storm tells Reed that everyone in the blast radius has vanished. That includes Victor, Johnny, Susan, and Ben. Over time, they all come out of the woodwork, each with their own set of powers that set them apart from each other. Ben is earth, Sue is air, Johnny is fire, Reed is
Whoa.
water, and Doom is horse feet, or
Huh?
death, if you want to be technical. It's
That's
later
not
revealed
how horse feet look. I don't know if that's my sticking point. It's much more insectoid.
Look, okay, it's fine. Technically speaking, it's kind of, but it's basically death. Yeah, we'll just go with that. But this is an interesting origin story. So I mean, like all this is happening in a different universe, right? 616 in particular.
Mhm.
Yeah. So just
616 is the main line. I think this is the ultimate, but
okay. Oh no, 616 was when the father raised him. Yeah, that's right. And was there for him to encourage him. This was a different thing.
through Reed confessing to Ben that he's responsible for turning him into a monster with the teleporter, that we find out that when it was activated, it sent all of them through to the end zone as themselves. But when returning, their physical bodies were changed into one of many thousand different physical states. And if they wanted to reverse what had been done, they'd have to teleport with the correct sequence to change them back. Only the sequence could be one of millions, so reversing what had been done to them
Basically
would
impossible.
be like 1 in a million odds. Ben tries to kill Reed at first when hearing this, until Reed confesses his guilt to Ben, that he should have never conducted the project, and promises to work day in and day out until he finds a cure for the 4 of them, after which they'd all be locked away and kept secret by the government till they could figure out a way to control their powers. After weeks of training, it's only through the crazed villain Mole Man setting loose a Godzilla creature.
Of course, it's freaking Mole Man. I got a few comments being like, oh yeah, all the OG fans, like, they laughed when Mole Man or the Underminer showed up at the end of the Incredibles movie. And then there's me, not knowing any of these references, being like, oh, that's cool, that's fun. I wonder if we'll ever get to see that fight again.
Onto Manhattan that the 4 assembled to take it on. At first, they struggled to work together and to put aside their differences, but through listening to Reed, they managed to defeat the creature using their powers effectively. So, going further down the rabbit hole from where the creature emerged, they discover Mole Man posted up with a whole race of fungus/Atlantean beings a 1.5 miles below Manhattan. Mole Man in this universe worked alongside Dr. Storm until his inevitable termination after creating these creatures which the government, including Dr. Storm, viewed as unethical. Seeking to get back at the government and Dr. Storm, Mole Man secretly worked with Victor behind the scenes to help create a whole race of monsters, with Mole Man revealing that Victor was the one responsible for the End Zone teleporter going wrong and altering them all. Learning the truth, everyone feels violated.
Who could have foreseen this?
Reed feels guilty above all else that he placed such a large amount of trust onto Victor, only to be betrayed, with their lives forever changed in the process, and that if he never pursued his dream, none of this would have ever happened. Crushed by that realization, they work together to defeat Mole Man and emerge victorious as the Fantastic Four. Something that I feel like I really have to take time to appreciate about the Fantastic Four in this Ultimate Universe is that it really takes its time to assemble the team and make them resemble their counterparts from 616. The dynamic between the 4 is just so pleasing to read, because there'll just be the occasional banter between Johnny and Ben, and then particularly funny moments like when Reed introduces the team to the Fantastic Car, and gives a whole sad backstory about how he made it to visit his parents, but always kinda chickened out at the last second. I keep one of my old toys up here. See, my folks have barely ever said a word to me ever since I moved here. Sometimes it was okay, but sometimes when they just wanted to get off the phone or, well, I wanted to go see them. See, Ben, we didn't get let out. Not without visit passes and authorizations that the parents had to sign off on. And my folks, well, I'd have to go see them. So I made a car. It's got no wheels. It flies.
This is seriously cool. What's it called?
I'm not going to tell you what it's called.
Come on, man. What'd you call it?
I was like 13 years old, Johnny.
Yeah.
I called it the Fantastic Car. Dude, that stinks.
Reed, you suck. You beyond suck.
You fantastic suck, dude. I was 13.
Come on, Ben. Let's find the Fantastador and have a Fantasta look inside.
Yeah,
Yes!
I want to see if it has a fantastic head. I was 13. Moments like these will become small inside jokes for readers, when it's followed up 10 issues later where they're gonna fly a space shuttle, but it requires a name. So Reed tries to name it the Fantasta Shuttle, but everyone's like, nah, that's dog shit. Let's let Johnny name it. And he names the rocket Awesome. It's
Oh my god, Johnny. I could kill you, Sue. This is really cool because we're seeing a new origin story for the 4 of them, but it still kind of ends up with the same dynamic and yet comes from a different place.
It's also interesting because, like, when this was airing, right, people didn't know where this was going to culminate, but we do in retrospect. So it's even worse because we know the crash that's coming.
Really? So was the Ultimate Comics not introduced as, like, the villain story for these heroes? It was just a new comic line?
Ultimate, yeah, was just basically a way to establish, basically, these characters, but with new stories, new settings, like, not being beholden to the previous stories of 616.
Yeah, that's going to be a slap in the face when whenever the ball drops here. Because of how different Reed's backstory was, I can already sort of see, like, where this storm is going to brew. Like, how it all culminates into that. because well, I can't really talk about it here on YouTube, but there are other instances in real life where stuff like this happens to these particular kind of people, and things come to a point.
Unfortunately, yeah.
So bloody stupid, but genuinely sincere at the same time. Now, remember Victor? Yeah. After the incident, Victor was transported to Copenhagen, barely recognizable to the man he once was, and sorta goes crazy for it. See, his entire body ends up becoming completely metal, with legs resembling horse feet for some reason. And every day
my god, this is the fantastic version of Doom. Oh shit.
So many of the live action movies like drawing from the Ultimate Comics, because a lot of the MCU stuff also draws heavily from the Ultimate Comics.
Really?
I mean, which fair, because the Ultimate Comics for the most part were really great. But yeah, it is weird how so much of the live action feels like they just kind of ignore 616 and just go straight to Ultimate. But they'll like present it like 616, which is the weird one. Like the original Spider-Man in the MCU is basically 616, or it's Ultimate, it's Miles Morales, but with 616 Peter skinned on top of it, basically.
What? That's a very weird combination.
Really weird. It's like, okay, clearly you had to do Peter, but you really wanted to tell Miles' story. So, like, Ned is just Genki. Or, like, a lot of the stuff that goes on is just kind of Miles' story presented through Peter. And, like, Peter was in the Ultimate Comics, but not in the same way.
Why did they choose that? Were the Ultimate Comics just selling better? And that's why they chose it as their inspiration?
I don't know, honestly. Because at that point, Ultimate wasn't, like, new. Maybe we'll have to dig in. I'm sure there are videos talking about the Ultimate run.
Yeah, but probably.
Or, it was an interesting set of comics.
Or maybe somebody more knowledgeable about these particular choices when it came to like the live action adaptations can let us know in the comments, because yeah, I can't see a reason why you would do the like mishmash of stuff and not just tell the story straight out for the comic fans. But yeah.
I mean, who understands Hollywood's decision making nowadays? Or ever.
If you do understand it, I feel for you. My condolences.
Passes on, his skin begins to shed from his body like a snake. During the time the Fantastic Four are getting a handle on their powers, Victor has been slowly amassing a cult with the promise of unlimited resources at the price of their undying loyalty to Doom, giving each and every member who joins a metallic dragon tattoo that works as a neural link.
Why does that dragon look so derpy? It's kind of cute, actually. I like it a lot.
Yeah.
I'd let Doom give me this tattoo.
To the brain. They all don't know this, of course, and just think it's a brand, but this'll bite Victor in the ass later. Through the grapevine, Doom hears that Reed survived the incident, supposedly unscathed. So in response, Victor develops killer fly robots to kill Reed and pretty much everyone in the Baxter building out of pure hatred.
That's hilarious, actually. This is my plan, to kill everyone with killer fly robots. So evil.
In doing this, he finds out that Ben, Johnny, and Susan all have powers. Yet, Reed never used his powers because during the attack he was just kind of there. So Victor comes to the assumption that Reed didn't receive powers, and that thought makes him so happy because he begins to think he's above him now in power and intelligence. So after the Flybot attack, the Fantastic Four pull up on Victor in Copenhagen, and Doom wipes the floor with everyone using his horse feet, his bad breath, and his GTA weapon wheel power to pull out infinite rocket launchers from his ass, taking down every member except Reed. Reed confronts Doom, and by this point Doom is so arrogant that he believes he's completely won, till Reed begins using his powers to turn the tide indefinitely. I rewired your stupid robot bugs into cleaning devices. They're back in Manhattan cleaning my underpants right now. So what else have you got, Victor?
I'm amused that the universe did not consider you worth gifting. You have no special abilities. Your friends, pathetic as they are, at least offered me entertainment. I'm going to break your neck and then impale your body.
I don't know what's happened to you.
The universe saw me for what I am, a royal warrior, such as I have been prepared for since childhood. My father taught me that there are only two kinds of people in this world, Richards. The kings and everybody else.
Your dad used to beat you like a runty dog, Vic. He traveled the world and you were stuck to his leg like a leech. He couldn't wait to scrape you off and drop you in the Baxter building because you just weren't good enough. And I made friends with you because I pitied you, Vic. Nice legs. I guess the universe got a good look at you too.
Richards.
Yeah. You might have.
That is a yikes, bro. Especially if you're saying that to a gym bro. It's like the universe saw your legs and was like, here, we'll give you leg day. Because you clearly haven't been doing it enough. There's a lot of dialogue here, though, that we know for a fact that like 616 Reed Richards wouldn't say. But yeah, that's because of the whole like small difference in backstory.
Have the death breath and your special fingernail trick, but I picked up a little game from the accident too. Vic, I don't know what crazy fantasy you're playing out here, and I don't care. Here's the deal. I want the superpositioning codes you plugged into the array before the accident. Give me those, and you never see us again.
I'll die first.
In a desperate act to win, Doom takes control of all of his followers to basically swarm the Fantastic Four, which quickly causes chaos in Copenhagen until the US Army shows up to basically say that this fight is finished, because technically, Victor has just been defending himself the entire time. With that, Reed and the team have to go, so Reed takes a piece of Doom's metal body that broke off and slashes Victor's face, leaving Victor imperfect, accepting that they'll never be cured, and that they're all in it together now. Beyond this, there are issues that take the time to explain how the powers have affected each member of the team's bodies. So for Mr. Fantastic, we find out that due to his elasticity in his body, all his internal organs, like his heart, his lungs, his stomach, pretty much everything are all just a ball in his body now. He no longer needs to eat or sleep, and he can pretty much never age, making him immortal, which excites Reed on so many levels. For Sue, she can essentially manipulate how light reflects from her skin or anything around her, which also allows—
Damn. Wasn't expecting to see the nudes today, but not complaining.
I like a lot of the art that they're showing from these comics.
Yeah, well, knowing you and how much you enjoy like the body horror stuff, yeah, this is definitely up your alley. Can 616 Sue do this as well? Just like make her skin transparent to see the muscle underneath and the organs and whatnot?
I'm sure she could. Has a writer ever done that with her? I'm not sure.
Yeah, I've only ever seen her just disappear out of a view, basically, and use shields and whatnot, but...
to generate force fields. For Ben, he's just simply a rock that can go toe-to-toe with the Hulk and still uses the bathroom. Listen, Ben, I've got some questions from Sue that, she thought might be better, you know, coming from me. Okay. Can you, can you still go to the bathroom? Yeah. You don't want to know the details. Okay. And for Johnny, he just sort of...
God, I don't want to imagine it, but I'm so morbidly curious now. Like, how does that work, actually? Does he, like, drop a rock just into the toilet?
Literally. Yeah.
Why do we do this to ourselves? I guess it's just, like, such a natural response that all humans kind of have to do. So, like, when we see somebody else in, like, a full suit of armor that they can never get out of, basically, we always wonder how that works.
Yeah.
has lizard skin, I guess, that bursts into flame on mental command that also accelerates his metabolism at an extremely fast rate. So to stay alive, Johnny has to constantly eat every day so that he doesn't end up shriveling into a raisin like he finds out much later. And then literally...
What? So what you're saying is Johnny's a lizardman? You know, I like Johnny a little bit more now.
Out of nowhere, Reed's like, I want to go explore the end zone, but the military is 100% against his idea because of the incident that nearly killed them, but also because they want some new stuff in return in case they end up dying. So Reed goes all a beautiful mind and blows himself up with 50 pounds of C4 to create a new metal akin to adamantium, creates a probe device for space travel, a double whopper upgrade to shield helicarriers, and once approved, the military basically tells Reed to go fuck off into the end zone. Everyone wants to tag along, only Dr. Storm hates the idea. tearing into Reed that he'll kill him if his kids die. But Reed is so clouded with the excitement of going that he kind of doesn't take into account that things could go wrong and they could all get killed. And it's
Uh-oh. I do not like where this is going and what this is setting up. This is not going to end well, is it? Oh, God. Man, I can only imagine what it would be like to be a comic reader, not knowing where this is going to go and being like, hey, maybe this will be like the turnaround and some on the Ultimate Comics, they'll become normal people again.
It's with that carefree attitude that the team rally together and affirm to Dr. Storm that nothing could go wrong. So riding through the end zone without a hitch, they fly through the emptiness of the end zone. Captivated by the beauty, Reed is left astonished.
That
He's
is a
fulfilled
phase.
his
That is a
lifelong
sane
dream.
man right
and after
there.
cruising through the end zone for a while in amazement, Ben gets kind of tired of Reed's enjoyment and decides to fly out of the shuttle to be alone with himself.
I'm just going outside for a walk because you people bug me, okay? I'm not having fun or anything. I'm just going outside for some, well, not air, similar. You know what I mean.
Is this something that astronauts just casually do? I don't think so.
But I don't think anything that the Fantastic Four could be considered something astronauts normally do.
Because, like, in the original story, didn't they steal the rocket initially? Like, they weren't even supposed to be there. That wasn't really sanctioned. They just stole it and took off. Oh my God, these guys. This is not
Your
gonna
tether's
end well. I'm
fastened?
so
Reed, you
scared.
look a frickin' thing like my mom. So quit trying to do a voice, alright? I'm fine. I'm just going outside.
What's he?
I don't know. You think he meant to do that?
Uh-oh.
You think maybe we set his oxygen feed too high or something?
No. No, I think he's fine. I swear. I don't remember the last time I heard him laugh.
Laughing maniacally
Not
with a
since
crazed
before
face. He's just really happy to be floating around.
This moment's cut abruptly short when the Fantastic Four hear a distress call from an alien. Through Reed's unwavering curiosity, he manages to establish the very first interaction with aliens in history, under the assumption that they are peaceful aliens looking to spread knowledge with one another. Until the alien they meet turns out to be a nihilist. Major bad guy, but that's alright. Because at first, everything's pretty chill. They all get to know one another and discover that the end zone is under their universe, which also turns out to be on the course of complete death in 500,000 years. But while Reed is taking in all of this information, Johnny starts turning into a raisin due to the lack of food stored on the spacecraft. So they kind of have to cut their trip short. But Reed's like, come on, let's just say for like a few more minutes. What could go wrong?
But look at Johnny! Look at him! He's basically just dried up. Bro is dying. He's a literal walking corpse now. Come on, man. This is starting to parallel with his situation with his family back in the day, where he had a curiosity and he wanted to experiment and do something, but then he was denied it. So is he just gonna actually just push forward here? Ignore Johnny's state because he wants to know that badly? Or maybe he comes back on his own somehow.
And everyone looks at Reed like, are you serious, man? He's kind of dying right now. It takes
your priorities
everyone
right,
to snap Reed out of his curiosity mode to realize how selfish he's acting and that Johnny will die if they don't return back to Earth. So as they're returning to the shuttle, they see a nihilist has been keeping other aliens prisoner to either use for physical labor or to eat when starved. So Reed and Ben promptly free the prisoners and call a nihilist out for being a fucking loser and beat the shit out of him, leaving the end zone heroes. But Reed is utterly disappointed that the one place he wanted to go to ever since he was a kid is just completely desolate and ruled by a guy exactly like Doom and Mole Man, trying to get ahead at the expense of others. And it's this seed of disappointment.
I feel like regardless of the place where you go, there's always going to be people or aliens or any living creature out there that just assumes that role. It's almost like a constant in life. If you have power, you probably want to keep it and use it for yourself. That's just how it works.
That takes root in Reed that we slowly begin to see him change. Beyond this, the Fantastic Four have a few filler stories where they meet the Inhumans, fight some weirdo who didn't get to work at the Baxter Building and grew jealous, finally get their symbols after 19 issues in. This is also slightly worth mentioning, but The 616 counterparts actually end up wearing their ultimate uniforms for quite a while in the main continuity, and I don't know if that was intentional or not, but yeah, there's that for you guys. They somehow tie.
Was there like a miscommunication between artists and whatnot? I'm like, here, use these as references, and then we're like, okay, well, let's just copy the costumes.
Time travel. Reed creates the baby ultimates for fun, which is.
What am I looking? Why?
Why are their heads so tall?
Now their heads just look
So
like the
many
maker. Yeah.
It's kind of hypocritical when you think about it, because they canceled Mole Man for the exact same thing, but I guess it's because it's Reed, they just think it's okay. They also prevent Namor from flooding New York by letting him goon on Invisible Woman, which is an actual thing that happens. And then through all of this chaos, one of the most important things that can ever happen to Reed happens over a voicemail. Play messages.
Hi, Reed Richards. You just want a trip to Las Vegas and a night at the Luxor Casino with some of the strip's most voluptuous showgirls.
Yo, let's go!
Hello, Mandy? You want to
Oh.
pick up? Hey, how come you got a guy's voice on your answer?
Greetings. I don't have any way of knowing if this message has reached its destination, or if that
Wait,
destination
is that you?
even exists. But if you are Reed Richards, or if there is a Reed Richards where you are, and you know him, then I'm asking you, please, to help us in any way that you can.
Oh my God.
It's
After this, Reed's ego starts to grow so massively that he becomes consumed with himself. The public begin to view the four as super celebrities, and coinciding with that, this alternate Reed is whispering into Reed's ear that he's their only hope, and without him, they're all gonna die. Kinda jingling keys in his face, telling him possible futures that could end up happening, like...
Oh god, yeah, and with a character like this particular Reed, giving him all of this attention, all of this fame that he doesn't really know what to do with and has been craving for so long, doesn't know how to manage it, not in the way that 616 did, with like intentionally doing this so that his family could be out there and not be seen as freaks, to be accepted in society. He doesn't have any of those intentions there, despite the dynamic still being the same. It's a recipe for disaster. Almost the perfect one. Oh no.
For instance, marrying Sue and having 2 kids. So upon building and completing the teleporter to a new universe with help from the alternate Reed, he's teleported to a dead world with no one in sight at first, until he's eventually approached...
Oh! Wait a minute. Oh yeah, we saw the zombie stuff last time. Oh.
By a zombified Fantastic Four. That plot twist manipulated Reed into creating a functional teleporter so they could all eat the flesh they'd ever need and spread their zombie virus to a new, fresh world. Because in this world, Reed believes God has bestowed this virus upon them as a gift that is meant to be spread. Adding to the running theme with Reed that with every new discovery, there's always something or someone shitty right behind it. Something purely imperfect. Luckily for Reed, he's saved by a Deus Ex Machina in the form of this dead world's Magneto. In saving Reed, the zombie Fantastic Four go to the Ultimate Universe where they take on the Ultimate Fantastic Four, while Reed, Magneto, and the other survivors fight their way to the teleporter themselves to save whomever they can. Along their journey, they take on several zombified counterparts, and many fall along the way, until they finally reach the teleporter cornered by every zombified hero. It's here where Magneto stays behind to sacrifice himself to destroy the teleporter to ensure that the Marvel zombies can't go to the Ultimate Universe. That Reed returns in time to stop the zombie Fantastic Four from spreading the virus and saving the day. After which they just sort of keep the zombified Fantastic Four in a containment cell to someday cure. Not really a good idea. Man, come on. So as the days...
They are going to break out.
How could go wrong? Yeah.
It always happens in every single zombie film ever. Like, oh, it's okay. We've quarantined off the place. All the Zeds are dead. They starved to death.
Research,
We'll be fine.
Roll around, they all just kind of converse with the zombie team. And on one of those days, it's Johnny's birthday. And Johnny decides to torment zombie Reed for a special beer concoction to impress Thor, because he kind of wants to join the Ultimates. Reed gives him this formula, and when the party begins, and he's handing out this special beer to everyone,
Genius,
Thor
Johnny,
can really...
genius.
Oh my fucking god. We took advice from a zombie on how to make drinks.
Who wants to spread his zombie virus? Yes.
Oh my god.
We give less of a shit about the beer. So to impress Thor, Johnny works out an idea to prank Ben so hard Thor will surely laugh his ass off and like Johnny. Only this ends up completely backfiring, and Ben confesses how he's been feeling about himself for months.
Heck, I'm sorry, Johnny. This ain't your fault. I've just been feeling kinda low lately. I guess it just finally hit me that this is how life's gonna be from now on. This skin disorder I got in here. This radiation thing. It's happening in my body. This ain't temporary. This is a lifetime condition, and that ain't ever gonna change. It's okay for you. You date cool chicks and go to cool parties. Me, I just think about suicide every day. I'd slit my wrists if I could find a razor that didn't break every time I tried. You think Reed could help me end it? Johnny? You think he could find a way to kill me, since he's given up on curing me? You figure that's too much to ask?
Reed, not realizing fully just how much he's strayed from his quest to cure Ben, tinkers with the teleporter from before to operate as a time machine and brings the team to the day the incident happened to stop.
Why does Victor look like he's on fleek? What the fuck is this artwork? This guy is ready to go on the dance floor. He's there on the modeling strip, just ready to walk. Jeez. He's way too fabulous.
Stop Ben from ever being infected. Through this, Ben gets to have a normal life, but the change ripples throughout time and leads to Thor becoming president, the invasion of the Skrull Empire, and the deaths of Sue, Johnny, and Reed, leading Ben to have to go back in time to prevent themselves from ever preventing Ben from ever being in the accident, which hurts Reed that his plan couldn't work, adding to his already immeasurable guilt, and further adds to the resentment Ben carries for Reed's ultimate mistake.
That is horrific, man. That, like, destiny, in a way, has forced you to become the thing that you are, that you despise. But without that...
The thing?
Say that again. Oh, man. Oh, the Uno reverse card. I love it. But you have to be the way that you are in order for all the people that you care about to survive and this world to continue to exist. It's a sacrifice that you didn't volunteer for, and yet you must. Man, that sucks.
It's a similar story to Iron Lad in the first run of the Young Avengers, where basically time is unraveling because he's gone back in time to try and not, because he knows that his destiny is to become Kang the Conqueror.
Yeah.
Which he doesn't want to do, because, like, he would sit down and be like, yeah, you're destined to become a great villain. He goes, I'd rather not, actually. But then as time starts unraveling, he's like, well, shit, apparently if I don't become Kang the Conqueror, everything I care about here goes away. So what the fuck do I do now?
Yeah, that sucks. Damn, you won above all? Wanting to see us all suffer?
Then just out of nowhere, Johnny gets sick from a Lovecraftian creature growing within his body. And also, the zombie Fantastic Four end up escaping. So,
who could have foreseen this?
While they're eating the staff of the Baxter building, Reed looks for any kind of cure for Johnny, but every trail runs cold. So Reed goes to the last person on Earth he'd ever want to seek help from. Doom. When arriving to a thriving Latveria under Doom's rule, Reed tells Doom the situation, and Doom's like, yeah, I know. I gave Johnny the creature inside his body, and also helped the zombie Fantastic Four escape. And if you want me to help, you gotta swap minds with me. Reed doesn't want to magically swap minds with Victor, and he asks why he'd even want to do that in the first place. To which Doom says that Reed told people Doom made a mistake with the End Zone teleporter, and the accident that followed was Doom's fault. Taking that as an insult to his honor, Doom seeks to take Reed's place and show that he never makes mistakes and that he's always been better than him. So with time running out and with no other option, Reed accepts and Victor becomes Reed and leads the team to defeat the zombie Fantastic Four. And
that is so Doom. It's like, To prove that I'm better than you, I'm literally going to step in your shoes and save the day. Oh, God. I've never run into a villain quite like this before. That's why I love this guy so much. He's just so insanely petty. So evil.
There's no one like Doom.
Cure Johnny, while Reed and Doom's body just sort of cries in the corner. Damn. Back at the Baxter building, the zombie...
Too real. Too real. Sometimes you feel like that, you know? There are just some days where you just want to sit in the corner and cry. It can be a lot. And I mean, everything that you've done so far has kind of backfired. So, understandable.
You're right.
Zombie Fantastic Four have been developing a teleporter back to the Marvel Zombies universe to bring all the zombie heroes over to spread the disease across the world. Yeah.
The worst part is these zombies still have intelligence. They're not just mindless walking corpses. They're still the Fantastic Four underneath all of that. God damn it, dude.
Maybe it wasn't a good idea to just keep them around after all. So Doom and Reed's body leads the team to Johnny to exorcise the creature from him. And during the preparation, Doom is all confident and secure that he won't make any kind of mistake and everything will go smoothly. Yet when exorcising the creature, Doom sort of just fucking mispronounces one of the spell words and just like lets loose Cthulhu out into the city.
That is like the worst possible time to stutter. Holy shit.
I can't speak. I can know the spell 100% and then it just to come out wrong and be like, well, fuck.
And the consequences for messing up are kind of immense, aren't they?
However, Reed inside of Doom's body becomes the new host to the creature. Using Doom's power combined with the creature's abilities, Reed decimates the zombie Fantastic Four and tells the team Doom's been inside his body the entire time, and that he's gonna go into the zombie universe to keep them from ever coming over. Yet before walking through the portal, Doom switches places back with Reed so Reed couldn't possibly one-up him with his self-sacrifice. As he...
This guy! What is this guy? This Doom! Oh, you think you're gonna sacrifice yourself and be all noble and shit? Be better than me? Nah, fuck that!
Nah, man.
I'll do the sacrificing here. All I'm saying, guys, you know, I main fighters in fighting games based off their appearance. I'm playing Doom because he's Doom when Marvel Telecom releases. Yeah. There's no question there.
Then walks over to the zombieverse, challenging them all. And then Reed's family shows up, with nothing but pure hatred for Reed. The reason they hate Reed is simply because of the Fantastic Four's popularity. Because of this, Reed's family receives death threats galore. His father also lost his job, and they're too afraid to step outside of their house in fear of villains trying to kill them. So Reed's dad promptly goes off on Reed to the point that it sort of snaps something in him, to which Reed promptly discards his family and leaves them for S.H.I.E.L.D. to deal with. Faced with all that hatred after not speaking to each other for years, Reed feels displaced, like he never belonged, and that the world he lives in is anything but good. This also isn't made any better when Thanos just sort of pops in to fill Reed's mind with evil juices a bit later, leading Reed to take out all his pent up anger onto the team, treating them—
What the hell, Thanos? What the— Bro basically just did a drive-by.
Stir shit, yeah.
I feel so bad for him, though. I do. I get it. I see the crash out happening. I did make a joke earlier that it was a reasonable crash out. It's really not, but like, I can't.
But you see how we got here.
I can't, yeah. Yeah, it's hard. It's hard for me to— I have to blame him. I know it's not right, but I don't know if I would do any better in that situation. I'd feel like I was alone despite having all these people who love me surrounding me. It sucks.
Them all like they're lesser than and not worth his time because of his superior intellect. So when the evil juices are ultimately expelled from him, the team, the only friends he's ever had, can't ever look at him the same ever again. And just when you think things can't get any worse,
ultimatum.
Reed thought the Fantastic Four had faced the worst the universe could offer, and after surviving some rocky times with Sue and the team, Reed had finally worked up the courage to take his relationship with Sue to the next level and propose to her. But when Magneto decided to shift the magnetic poles of the Earth, it sent a tsunami right through New York, drowning it in a tidal wave of destruction.
Well, earlier in the video, it was like, my G. But that was a different universe's Magneto. So,
different Magneto.
Yeah.
Seemingly killing the Human Torch and Dr. Storm. With Susan lying near death from attempting to shield New York from the wave, Reed believed that in order to stop what had happened, he'd need to leave the others and find Namor, believing him responsible. Ben would plead for Reed to stay and not only help Sue or to find Johnny and Dr. Storm, but to also tend to the fallen. But Reed would end up leaving anyway, leaving Ben alone to pick up the pieces, truly alone for the first time since the accident. Reed finds and captures Namor to learn that he isn't responsible, and in the midst of defeat, unable to surmise who could have done this, Grant Morrison telepathically sends a message to all heroes that Magneto is the one responsible. Reed, among any heroes left to stand against Magneto, would inevitably put a stop to his terror and realign the magnetic poles, but it had sadly come at a great cost. And while Reed was doing this, let's just say it got a bit rocky with the team. After arriving back to the Baxter building, they bump into Reed after working with Doom to kill Magneto to save the world. Johnny and Sue look at Reed like he's dead to them, and later Ben has a moment with Reed to understand what happened after he pretty much abandoned them, where he explains that working to defeat Magneto, Reed learned that behind all the destruction and chaos left in his wake, Doom was the one responsible for instigating it all. Doom pressed Magneto's button.
It always comes back to Doom, doesn't it? It always does.
Buttons and killed his daughter, leading to the deaths of millions of innocent lives, after which Reed took to running countless simulations on...
By daughter, don't you mean Scarlet Witch?
I presume?
Huh?
No, if
does Magneto have multiple daughters?
I don't know.
Regardless, Doom...
Not that I'm aware of. But...
Doom was able to overpower Scarlet Witch? I guess he's just built different.
I never read Ultimate X-Men, so I really have no idea.
Any of them if Doom would be capable of doing any good. However, in all of the simulations, Reed is left horrified. Doom either enslaves millions, wipes out a whole race here, or he just leads the whole world into damnation. Every simulation always ends with the same outcome. Staring at the inevitable, Reed knows that Doom has to die to ensure a prosperous world, but can't go through with it. He can't kill Doom in cold blood. So Ben goes on to do it himself, walking up to his throne in Latveria, grabbing Doom by his head, and squishes his skull till it'd pop like a watermelon, stating that everything he did was his fault.
God damn.
And he just had to pay for what he did. He had to.
I mean...
Arriving back to...
Fair.
Ben has faced the worst of it because of Doom, so...
Fair. Honestly. I bet you it was a Doom bot, but still, you know, go off.
New York, everyone hosts a funeral for Dr. Storm, with the comic showing panel after panel that if the Fantastic Four were shattered and built back together with Elmer's glue, now those pieces were smashed even more, with no hope of going back. Reed says to himself that things weren't supposed to end like this. Their city died. Their father died, and now they're burying their innocence along with it, burying the team and their family of four for good. During the funeral, Reed tries to put it all back together. He thinks Sue will forgive him, and does the worst possible thing he could ever think to do, and proposes to...
Big brain. I know your dad died and everything looks like shit, but how about you marry me?
Reed, you have absolutely no riz. I don't know what to say, bro. This is not the time. This is actually the worst possible time you could have done this.
Genuinely, though.
I don't know what to say. I'm kind of sitting here in disbelief. Like, what the fuck? I would be I would never talk to this person ever again. God damn it, Reed.
Sue, right over their father's grave. Sue looks at the ring and says that Reed left. He chose to save the world over saving her and left. She used to think that their love defied logic, but maybe he was just beholden to it, completely and utterly rejecting Reed's proposal. So Reed turns to Ben and thanks him for carrying the weight of the...
Hey, Ben, you want to marry me instead? Oh, yeah, sure, pal. Didn't know you liked me that way. We're really emphasizing this part of Reed that is really a mainstay for the character of him being unable to get his priorities straight when it comes to all these things within his life. And it's kind of hard to blame him, but I also don't blame Sue, right? Because,
Well,
like,
and
what the
it's
fuck?
tough because, like, the core of Fantastic Four, right, is the family and the connection. And so we're seeing all of that fall apart, and most of it is his own doing and choices.
I understand now what he was talking about, what it was like seeing a guy who basically had all these choices in front of him and then decide to make all the wrong ones at every single turn. I don't know if I'd fare any better. I understand you went to go and save the world. You did leave kind of your girlfriend / wife to be alone, dying. But, the world was saved, I guess, in the end. Maybe the other heroes could have handled that alone. You never know. But it's hard to say. It's a hard call.
He was chasing the wrong thing, too, though, because he went after Namor, despite Namor being uninvolved.
Well, they didn't have the information, right? You see the seas come crashing into your city. You probably think it's the guy that rules the seas. I get the line of thinking there makes sense. And then they went after Magneto, and it turns out it wasn't Magneto. It was always Doom. Just blame Doom all the time. You'll be more right than not.
Yeah, true. When in doubt.
When in doubt, blame Doom. My egg stuck to the pan this morning. It was probably Doom's fault.
Team on this one. And all Ben can say is, yeah, well, my shoulders hurt. Soon after this,
damn, bro is a gamer. He carries the team on his back.
Of the Fantastic Four, Ben goes on to work for S.H.I.E.L.D. Johnny moves out to live as far away as humanly possible from Reed. Sue takes over the Baxter building, and with nothing left, Reed leaves back home to move in with his family that never loved him. And that's how the Ultimate Fantastic Four run comes to an end.
Of all the places to go, why there?
There is nothing left for you, man. Why did you come back here? This is your prison. You left here. You wanted to leave there, and I guess he just feels like there's nothing else, nowhere else that would accept him. But even here,
you're better off alone at that point.
He's probably not thinking straight, though. Like, it's hard to blame him.
Clearly not.
He's going through a really rough patch. His life is basically over at this point from all the stuff that he's done.
Nothing can get any worse from here.
He can turn it around, but
oh my god, it gets so much worse.
Yeah. Oh my god. Okay, you know what? I think this is probably a good place to call it.
Yeah.
Like, this is the best thing that we're going to get to a chapter. This is insane, man. I hate seeing this spiral. I also am morbidly curious to see how it all ends, too. I really want to know.
Yeah.
It's fascinating to see these villain origin stories, especially for people who have been heroes a long time. People that you've grown to love, just being put in a slightly different situation and the things they could have become if things were different. What I learned from this video is just always blame Doom. I'll keep that in mind. But yeah, guys, thank you so much for watching. Hope you guys enjoyed and hope you have a wonderful rest of your day. We'll catch you guys in part 2 of this video, hopefully next week. Yeah, we'll see. Later, dudes.
Bye-bye.